Oh, now, hold on. Now do you see me? No, I was talking about actually. Okay, now hold on. You should go back to the
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started now. Thank you for tuning in. We are trying a new system here. This is a Google Hangout system. And over the last little while, we've had some problems with being able to loop in Stephen or JJ or any of the other presenters for this. The sake of keeping it the same, we're going to go ahead and start with the presentation. There were parts that Stephen was going to do that I ahead and do for the sake of making this happen, and then we'll look into other platforms as we move forward. So we'll go ahead and get started today. So first off, thank you all for joining us. This call is being recorded, and just so you know how the call is set up, nobody else can talk on it, which wasn't our plan, but is how it's working out. So if you have any questions, feel free to throw those questions as questions on the Q&A side of things, and I will try and respond to them throughout the call. Otherwise, we'll follow up with an email on any of the answers to them. But welcome to the team, as we've said a few times. The plan for this conference call specifically is to go through everything as an overall plan for the team for this year, kind of breaking down each different team, how different things are going to work, and then from there, what the plan is moving forward. So welcome to the team. As an introduction, my name is Bryson Schroeder. I know I've talked to all of you guys before, but I'm the team coordinator. Stephen Enochian is the assistant team coordinator. JJ Arnold is our team advisor, and then Logan Green is the region chief. All right. We had some missions and some goals that we set out to achieve this year. And I know that we've been going for about a month and a half now of already being, a fully formulated team. But since this is our first meeting, I wanted to review our goals and mission. So the mission for the team is to provide a successful communications and brand continuity support to the Central Region throughout effective presentation of region events and programs, section relations, and things of interest to the region. So kind of breaking that down a little bit, we want to be able to be that outlet for the region to be able to inform the members of our region about events, about programs, about different things going on the section levels, and maybe even highlighting some lodge things, as well as different things of interest to the lodge. So whether that's just general, or to the region, whether that's general OA events or just different pieces of information that we think would be interesting to our region. Goals for this year. We set 3 large team goals. One of them is the communication team needs to communicate. And as I was talking to each of the team leads, I really did kind of stress this point. I know it sounds a little corny, but the communications team needs to be able to communicate with each other. If we all stay on the same page with each other, if we all are really in view with where we're at in our personal lives, in our what we're doing with the communications team, things come up, we're able to kind of take over for each other and really support each other. So that's a big thing this year. Steady promotion across channels. We really want to ensure that we have a plan for how we're communicating, whether that is for example, the social media team. Social media team posts every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Or the blog team, we post every other week. We want to have a steady basis of promotion so that we ensure that we are really covering everything, but we're not covering it in such a crazy way that we're overflooding people, but we're covering it enough to where people can come and look for our content and know that it's there and up to date. And last but not least, we want to ensure that we have coordination and continuity between sub-teams. We have social media teams, we have website teams, we have blog teams, we have written content and visual content teams, and so many other teams. We want to really ensure that they're working together in the best way possible. Moving on to our next team would be our team structure. Now, Stephen was going to cover this, but again, we don't have the ability for Stephen to be able to talk with us today. He is watching, but he is not able to talk just based on how Google Hangout was set up. So I'm going to kind of cover the team structure. So we have our team coordinator and our assistant team coordinator. And underneath our assistant team coordinator are all of our leads. The way we've chosen to structure the team this year is Steven is our main point of contact for all of the leads in the day-to-day operations. So let's say, blog posts going out or questions about how things are coordinated or setting up event plans. All of those are flushed through Steven into the lead teams. So the team leads for the social media teams, the websites, technology, so on and so forth. That team coordinator position, I work with Steven a lot to ensure that the information is passed from up down to him, which he then pushes out. And what that allows us to do is allows us to have a main point of contact for each group. So the sub-team assistants really do coordinate specifically with their team leads, not really much further, where then Steven then coordinates with the leads, keeping the leads that center of information. Google. This year, we really ramped up our Google for Work program. So for those of you that aren't familiar, Google has a program that works with non-for-profit organizations to allow us Drive as well as Gmail access. So we have put in place through the help of last year's team as well as Steven and Sen, we were able to really develop those this year. So starting with Google for Work, just so everybody knows, this is very similar to a company setup or a company structure. When you do leave the team, you lose your email. So I always recommend using like a personal Gmail account for all personal mail because this is owned by the central region. It will maintain the central regions. And when you're using it, you are acting as the central region. Google Drive. We have this program called the Hub, and the Hub is in everybody's Google Drive, everybody's central region account. It's shared with them. There are certain folders that, depending on your position, you have, which allows us to really keep a firm basis around who's in what and who's doing what. Keeping the content updated is really important. So as we're making changes to things, as we're adding new pictures, new slides, keeping everything in the Hub and the content updated to ensure that the Hub is the place where people can go to be able to pull content. Organization is key. It is set up and structured with different folders, which allows for everybody to be able to save their content in the folders that they're working in. Make sure that we are keeping it organized in that system. So the main hub is titled 2016, and from there you have your individual folders. Keeping things in the root we try and keep out of. So we don't want folders and pictures and things like that, different files saved in there, but rather in the teams that they're associated with. And then documenting is everything. So ensure that as you take notes on things or as you move forward, that we're documenting everything so that we ensure that for next year we really do have the right setup or the right information passed on to the next team. Google Mail. Google Mail allows us to really stay in communication with everybody throughout the team. It's similar to any other Gmail account. It's set up where it's Stephen.Anokian or Bryson.Schroeder@central.oa-bsa.org. So it is branded towards our brand, towards our region. But it is it's email that you can use to be able to communicate with your operations and your team and other region operations. So we try to keep this official business only. Like I said before, we prefer not personal emails going out through this or emails that aren't vetted or aren't quote unquote official business for the region going out through this. But this email account does allow us to be able to communicate with you and allows you to be able to communicate with us. Now, it is really important. I have it set up on my phone. Set it up somewhere to where you will ensure that you check it every day. We send things out, we send updates out, requests out quite frequently for changes to the website or changes to social media. And we really do try and use Gmail as that main point. So make sure you are checking that every day. As far as assistance as well, the team leads will want to be able to reach you as they assign you tasks and projects, and that'll be done through email as well. Content request systems. This is specifically for Facebook and the blog and everybody that uses content, whether that's visual or written communications. There are two content request systems. One of them is a visual content system, and one of them is a written content request system. They're both Google Forms, or set up as Google Forms, and they're in the hub. And those are how a team would request for the written content team or the visual content team to create them something. So in this, you want to make sure that you give them at least 3 weeks to be able to give you something back. So let's say we know that there's a story that we're sending out on April 31st. Well, we want to make sure that the first week in April we have that form sent in to them so that they have adequate time. And then the structure for that is that they will, at least a week beforehand, send that back to you, that finished content back to you, so that you have time to review and then request any changes within that last week before the content would go live. In that, you want to be as specific as you want. So for example, if you know exactly what you're looking for, give them exactly what you're looking for. For example, you need a graphic with OAHA in it that's white, that's centered, this blue, it's a border, so on and so forth. If you can be that specific, that's great. If you can't, if you just have an idea, if you just have a picture you like that you want changed, or if you like, an article, or if it's going along with an article, if you can submit them that article, something to be able to give them, kind of an idea of where they're going, that works too. So just be as specific as you want. The written content system and the visual content system, like I said, are available in the hub. They look similar to this Google form right here. You basically just fill out the information that it's asking for, submit it, and then they get a notification. The leads of the written and the visual content team get a notification in their email saying, hey, somebody submitted something and we need you to go create it. They'll usually follow up with an email letting you know that, hey, we received it, we'll get this done for you. Here's an idea of a timeline, here's some questions we might have. It's really important that we are utilizing this and we're following that 3-week turnaround time. This is something that those teams are in place for a reason. We want to utilize them, and so we need to ensure that we are actually utilizing them. So sub-team goals. We have had conversations with every team lead. We sat down with them right after the team started, and we really decided, here's what we really want to accomplish this year from your team. And I want to review those with everybody on the team so that everybody on the team's aware of what other teams are doing. And if you have ideas of ways to improve or ideas of things you can bring to that team, please share those with us or with the team lead specifically. So the social media team, with the lead of Ben Johnson, we want to maintain a visually appealing presence on the social media channels. We want to set up and maintain a schedule of post topics, so ensuring that we really know what we are doing. Ensure continuity between social media and team channels, so whether that's linking back to the website or linking back to a blog post. Setting up a posting schedule, so whether that's every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then every other weekend, or that's a Tuesday, Thursday, whatever the schedule might be, we wanted to set up an effective schedule so that we really do have a standard of when we are expecting posts and when people can be expecting. And then effective event promotion, that kind of goes off the schedule. We are having an NLS, so we're going to post every couple hours with what's going on. The website team, which is led by Cam Frederick. We want to make sure we support all change requests. So that's a big thing with the website, is a lot of times you get requests kind of last minute from either the region leadership or people that are out there that are working on different things that see changes that we should be making to the website. We send those over to Cam. Cam and AJ knock those things out. Frequently review and update content and visuals. Set up new pages in a timely manner in coordination with region events. Frequently update, whether that's a manually or scheduled, the homepage, so changing the slider images, the pictures, and implement new functionalities to the website, which is something we always want to be growing with all of our teams. The technology team. We want to successfully onboard the team onto Google, which Sen has been working really hard doing. We want to develop and implement a plan for section Google and website support. Just so everybody knows, our intention with that is that in the future, we will implement all sections with Gmail accounts so that they have the ability to communicate on a slightly more professional basis rather than their personal Gmails. And we want to set up some form of website support for them, whether that is setting up a website that they can use, or setting up a platform for them to be able to go and create their own websites, but allowing us to be able to ensure we update it with the officer information and calendars. So things we're talking about right now, nothing that we've totally set up yet, but things we are working on. Support all region Gmail and hub needs. So, as there's questions, Sen is our go-to guy on the technology team to ensure that those are answered. And be involved in new technology innovations. So the technology team is a team that we started this year, a brand new team. It currently only has one member on it, and its plan is to really ensure that we do have the right things in place for when we do technology. So those Gmail accounts, those hub accounts, things that we can create to grow. The blog team, led by Kyle Reamer, setting up a schedule of blog post themes. Kyle and I actually spoke today and a couple of weeks ago in figuring out what the best schedule for blogs are. Is it every couple of days, every couple of weeks? And making sure that those are in line with some social media posting schedules so that we really can have some continuity between those two teams. We want to have a steady blog posting schedule. We want to stay on top of the comments and the questions. People post questions all the time as comments on our website. A couple of weeks ago, we had somebody ask us about, a question about the Vigil Honor on there. We want to make sure that we are staying on top of those questions and comments and either passing them off to the right people to be answered or answering them directly on the blog. And we want to continue to build and innovate the Central Region blog. That was something that we started new last year. We want to ensure that we really do innovate that blog this year. The Mighty Leader team, led by Joshua. We want to build an all-encompassing report of the region. For those of you that were on the team a long time ago, the team was the Mighty Leader was set up to go out every 3 months, and it really didn't accomplish what we were looking for at that point. So now what we're looking for is an all-encompassing report of the region, basically, taking everything from every section, events that the region hosted, different national programs, putting them all into a report, a visually appealing report that people can then go and kind of review the year. We want to ensure all sections are represented, and because this is such a big undertaking, we want to ensure that we're planning ahead. So that's why there's 2 people on the team starting all the way in March for a production that doesn't come out for another 9 months. The written content team, which is led by Corey. We want to support all sub-teams with written content needs. We want to provide feedback on all region written content. And we want to allow the written content team to provide some oversight. So as social media posts go out, as blog posts go out, if the written content team sees changes that need to be made, they do have that authority to come in and say, hey guys, this probably needs to be looked at. And the visual content team is very similar. It's same structure. It supports the sub teams with visual content needs, as well as provides feedback on all region visual content needs. So, if things come up, if you see changes that need to be made, that visual content team is there. Now, as you can see, these written and visual content teams do have a lot of members on them, and we really do want to utilize them. So as we go through those content request forms in the hub are important to make sure that we really are utilizing them so we can utilize those teams. And the final team is the special projects team. The special projects team is it assists with the region special projects, as well as provides innovation and ideas for ways to improve our region communications. So this team is not set up with a specific goal in mind for the year, but rather somebody that can come in and take over certain parts of the communications that we're doing. So whether there's a special event that's coming up or a special program that's coming up that we need a special person to really develop a plan for, that's what the special projects team is in place for. The team summit. This team summit, as you guys all know, we had some problems with logistics, as well as just an overall plan of how we really were going to accomplish the team summit this year. There were a lot of good goals, a lot of good visions behind it, but the way it actually worked logistically with you guys was not working. So we sat down and we really tried to figure out, what's the best way that we really truly can make this happen. And so we tentatively want you guys to mark your calendars for the section officers seminar on November 18th to the 20th. We've been working with region leadership to be able to bring you guys out to the section officers seminar and be able to have our team summit that way. Now, this is going to be at the very end of this year's term. So what it'll be is it'll be that bridge into the next group of communications team members, which will likely be many of you guys, as well as new members to the team. And there we'll be able to truly put together, how this year went, how we can move forward into the next year. So there'll be more information to come on that, but make sure to mark your calendars for November 18th to the 20th, and that is in Parkville, Missouri. As everybody that's not familiar with the section officer seminar, your 3 section officers as well as your advisors attend this event. So hopefully we will be able to set up some carpooling options for you guys as well. Updating information. In the hub, in the very root of the hub, there is a file that has all of your guys' information on where you're at. Stephen's asking for you guys to update that with your address, as well as any other information that could be inaccurate. So please go through, take a look, see if that information is accurate. And if there's anything you'd like to change, please go ahead, change it in that folder. And that way we can ensure that we do have the accurate information for you. Future team meetings. So in a second, I'm going to open up to questions. So please post any questions you see. I do see a couple in here already. But future team meetings. How we have this structured is we want to be able to have a meeting similar to this meeting here. It's a full team meeting. It's being recorded. It's going to be emailed out to everybody on the team. We want to have one of those quarterly. Something that really can be a pump-up meeting, getting everybody together, ensuring that everybody is on the same page. Hopefully, we'll be able to figure out how to be able to get the other members of the team on here to be able to speak as well. But our next meeting for that is going to be May 22nd, unless we find that doesn't work for many people. So please let us know if that doesn't work for you. At 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is a Sunday. And that will allow us to have a meeting right before summer, kind of come up with the plan for what summer's plan is going to be, and figure out how we're going to continue this team throughout that summer. So those are our full team meetings. That's with our assistants as well as our team leads. And then our sub-team lead meetings, we're going to have individual monthly meetings. So we've talked with most of the sub-team leads already, but Stephen is setting up a system for you guys to be able to sign up through Google Calendar for meetings with us. And the intention of that meeting is for us to really sit down, nail down where your team's at, where your team's going over this next month, so that you can work with your team to ensure that we really are marching forward. Logan, like I said, we're not able to add anybody to the call today, but at our next one, we'll make sure that Logan does share his comments. Logan's really ecstatic about the way the communications team is going this year and how it's going to really propel us into the next year. But if you do have any questions for him, feel free to pass them along to me and I'll pass them on to him. But he did want to share his comments, but we weren't able to figure out how to make that work with Google Slides this time. So final comments. I know we took up about half an hour of your time here, and I appreciate you sitting down and really understanding where we are at as a team. It's important that we really do continue the momentum that we have in the beginning of this year, pushing forward into our next year of communications. There's lots of things that we can accomplish throughout the year, but we really do want to make sure that we're staying focused on what our team's goals are and how we are going to be able to accomplish those. So I'm really excited for where we're at so far this year. I know that we are going to keep moving forward on that and look forward to talking to you guys each individually. Like I said, team leads, please look out for an email scheduling those next month's team lead meetings, and we look forward to talking to you then. Please shoot me an email if you have any questions. I do see a couple questions on here right now, so I'm going to answer those. Noah Kelly said, I don't have access to the contact information sheet. I'll make sure that that is available for everybody to be able to edit their information. And Corey said, I don't see the content request forms in the 2016 hub. They are a little bit buried. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and move them out into the main index under content request form. That way everybody can see where those are located. So yes, I will. And then Corey, Joey just asked if we can put the PowerPoint in the hub. I'll throw this PowerPoint in the hub as well. It's also available on YouTube if you'd like to go back out and see this team meeting again. And I'll post a link in the hub as well. Is there any other questions that anybody has? If so, feel free to throw them up right now. If we don't get to them on this call, I will email you guys back. All right, cool. Well, I appreciate everybody sitting onto the call. Looks like we had a pretty good turnout tonight, and we will look forward to talking to you guys individually over the next month or two, and we'll see each other back at the next full team meeting in May. All right, thank you guys very much.